Chelsea 2, AC Milan 0, and just one goal away from a third consecutive 3-0 victory. And I mean, that aside, what more could you ask for? Every single player played their part in this game, whether, you know, from Kovacic to James to Chilwell to obviously Mason Mount. Just an outstanding performance all around. Listen, let's get straight into it. First of all, Keppa, once again, solid in goal. Some outstanding saves. Again, a fantastic performance. I wish I could give him more. But again, I want to be lenient with these ratings, because once we start giving them 9s and 10s and everything, I want certain numbers to mean a certain thing. So, like, if a player does do a 10, it has to be something spectacular. So I feel like even then, a 7 is absolutely fantastic from him. Again, nothing too much in the way of challenges. Giroud had a chance in the early, you know, just after we'd scored our goal early on. And just beyond then, he made some crucial saves. One in particular, it was just like a diving save. Studded it out into the 6-yard box and then was dealt with comfortably by the defence, of which we move on. Again, Keppa, fantastic. Once again, he maintains his first place position in the squad. For me, I feel like he's just really levels above Mendy currently playing really, really well. And I said coming into this game that if he had been dropped, it would have been so unjust. And Potter has the belief in him. I feel like Keppa is showing that he can feel that Potter has the belief in him to perform. We'll just get straight into this. It's a 7, again, all around for the back three. They dealt with everything really well. Leao was, again, on top form. Again, really, the side around him weren't performing well enough to have him play as well as he could have done. But let's face the facts. Leao is unbelievable, an unbelievable talent, and we kept him at bay once again, 2 games in a row. Really, they had plenty of chances. They really did. But this Chelsea side, reborn under Graham Potter, and again, people could say that the new manager bounce is in full swing, and it very well could be. But for the time being, these players are playing phenomenal football. We used to go for, I was saying in the watch along that Chelsea go forward, and you feel like we are actually going to score. I know it was only 2-0 today. It was 3-0 in the last game through in the game before then, but yeah, every time we go forward, so strong. Such a strong performance from everyone involved. And Graham Potter himself. Subs were fantastic when needed. Not quite as influential in the rhythm of the game as in previous games. Of course, in the game against Crystal Palace, you had Pulisic assisting. Conor Gallagher, his goal going top bins. And in the last game as well, we had Chukwuemeka and Broja in general scoring, and the subs are coming in and doing exactly what they're supposed to do. They're not just playing for the sake of it; they are actually having an impact. James, I mean, it depends who we've got. Yeah, we've got James, a 7. Unfortunately, and it could be catastrophic for the season, we're thinking hopefully, from what I've been told and what we have been told in general, is that, you know, it might be a minor injury, just something that he needs to take 1 or 2 games off. Of course, we have Manchester United coming next Saturday on the 22nd of October. In between then and now, or now and then, rather, we've got Aston Villa, we've got Brentford. If he needs to miss those games and we play Azpilicueta, then, you know, so be it. But Azpilicueta needs to perform in those games, and if he does, then it will be for the better. I feel like if James could do with a bit of a rest, if anything, he's been unplayable, outstanding in the games that he has played. Again, fantastic performances for him. I think if he did go the full 90 minutes, he could be getting a 7.5, you know. But overall, a fantastic performance from him once again. Ben Chilwell, I feel like could probably get a 6.5, but again, given the result, given the magnitude of the game, I feel like, again, a 7 for the most part. Every single player, besides one or two players maybe, that had noticeably kind of underperforming games. Chilwell, for me, doesn't fit that sort of group of players. Jorginho, he is, for me, given the magnitude of the game, questionable penalty, questionable red card. In the moment, I said, of course, it's either here or there. With the penalty, I feel like it was a little bit harsh, a little early on to be giving a red card. The referee lost all control of the game, and a red card that early on. Again, you could argue absolutely Tomori is not playing the ball. He's playing the man. Mount kept himself on his feet, and he still managed to get the shot off before, once he got the shot off, falling to the ground. But he wasn't fouled. He was the last man, though, Tomori, so a red card in that situation. It's very much, you could argue both cases. Regardless, Jorginho on his 200th appearance stood up and, as ever, cool, calm and collected, puts it in the back of the net. So for me, he earns that 0.5 extra for being the 200th game in his career at Chelsea. That has gone quick. It really has. He gets a 7.5 from me. And then this is debatable, but for me, I feel like Kovacic just hasn't been himself lately. Still commanding the centre of midfield really well, but the overwhelming and commanding figure that he is known to be, he was not today necessarily, compared again to the performances of those around him in this game. I just feel like he's missing a little bit, but for sure, based on other players, which we will get to, he will be back better than ever, no doubt. Aubameyang 7.5, another goal for him. What more can be said? He's just been fantastic, so clinical. Another goal for him. And Sterling, I haven't seen the goal back just yet. Probably offside, and I think that was probably why Aubameyang more or less was like, get the fuck out the way. I'm putting this in the back of the net, whether you like it or not. You might be offside. Get out the way. Let me finish this. I'm putting it away. And he did just that. A 7.5 for me, just purely on how clinical he has been. And his previous ratings has played a part on this as well. But the number 9 curse, dare we say, in the muds, it could be the case. Sterling, again, this could be a bit debatable as well, but I feel like, again, just not quite himself, not quite as impactful as he has been in earlier games this season. But again, another one of those players that will absolutely be back and better than ever. We know what Sterling can produce. We know what he can do. He's going to be brilliant for us. Again, still early days in the season. And last but not least, of course, substitutes-wise, before we get into, obviously, what Mason Mount is definitely man of the match. He earned man of the match after just 45 minutes of play. Substitutions-wise, who did we have? We had Loftus-Cheek. Feel like if he had played the whole game, probably, again, would have been one of those players to get a 7 rating. Gallagher played really well when he came on as well. I think maybe a 6.5, 7 rating. He did just everything that was needed to be done. If he had played from the start, probably again would have been a really good performance from him. Cucurella, not really too much time, and again Azpilicueta came in for the injured Reece James, and just everyone did what they were supposed to do. There's no gripes of any player realistically. So we move on. And another, I believe I gave him an 8 in the last game. Maybe an 8.5, but an 8 for Mason Mount. He's just unbelievable at the moment. And you can say what you want about what I've been saying about him lately. I'm purely stating the facts that prior to the last game when he got 2 assists, and again today where he got an assist, he is in impressive form right now. And hopefully, if he can hit the ground running, game in, game out, keep that consistency, we will see why Mason Mount will prove that he will be one of the greats. Player of the season 2 years in a row. It just speaks for itself. He is something else. And when he is on form, he's unplayable. Again, like many players for this club. When he's on form, absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Another assist for him. And overall, a fantastic performance. Graham Potter, the breath of fresh air that we needed. Whether the Thomas Tuchel is gone. It's as simple as that. And we seem to be dealing well. Whether or not, again, it is the manager bounce, it may well be for now, but it's whether or not we can keep this consistency. And let's be frank, I didn't want to say it at the time, but I'm seeing signs of like the style of play and the performances we're putting in, especially the last 2 games against AC Milan, is that of when we've won the Champions League. And I'm not for 1 second doing a Rory Jennings and saying that we're going to win the Champions League, but you never know. It could happen. White kits, Group E, it's there. It's there for the taking. Graham Potter to win the Champions League in Istanbul, it could very well happen. With that said, before we get a bit overboard, a fantastic result. Chelsea 2, AC Milan 0. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification to be notified of any future content coming up on Chelsea Fan TV. My name is Harry. As always, up the Chelsea and peace.